Good morning and welcome to Casa Hannah's Tea Room. It's Cassie here. Today it's going to be a Do You gaming challenge for a sweet treat today. Thought we'd have some fun on a nice semi-rainy, semi-sunny, semi-cloudy day on the island. Hopefully it will be warming up soon. Luckily, the wind has died down, so we can enjoy a cup of tea or a coffee or even a hot chocolate together while we answer the question, do you, or in this case, do I swear? Nope, I don't swear. It usually gives me anxiety whenever I hear someone swearing or if I try to swear myself. If I'm gonna say something in anger or something, I use alternatives like crap or darn or something like that. My grandpa and my grandma and grandpa would teach me that swearing is not exactly the best form of communication. So I'm kind of say-so that way, in that I don't really like voicing my anger in really, really negative ways. Yes, there are some positive uses of swear words, like in Axel's case, that's his love language. But I just don't go for swearing usually. Do I tend to be clumsy? Not really. Well, I try not to be. Well, I can be pawn. I'm guilty as charged unless I practice hard at whatever I'm doing and watch where I'm going and then know exactly what I'm doing to build an object or cook a special dish or get around the city just fine. Otherwise, if it's dark and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm pretty much clumsy. So don't expect me to do any handyman work around the house because I'm always afraid that I might accidentally do something wrong because it's not my specialty. I usually stick with the things I'm good at, not exactly bad at. Yes, practicing what you're bad at will improve all your skills, but I try not to do things that will probably cause other people disadvantages or trouble around the household, or trouble in general if I mess up royally in my duties. Do I write notes? Yes. Like Mamie, I don't have the best short-term memory. Neither does one of my closest friends. So I always try to write things down. Long-term memory, I'm fine. I can usually remember facts 5 or 6 or 7 years in the past. But if it's short-term and I have other things on the go, yeah, my memory's not so nice. And I have to try to repeat whatever has been taught a couple of times so it locks into the long-term memory. Usually with dance steps, I have a photographic memory, so I easily learn things super quick. After the first or second try, my muscle memory kicks in and I've memorized it mostly. Same with music. I usually, when it came to doing songs in choir and vocal jazz, I could remember it after the first or second week of learning the song. So I sometimes didn't actually need the music with me to sing it in class. I could sing it along with everybody else during the performance and know my part pretty well. I didn't go into musical theater for the theater aspect, but I was pretty good at doing the pit orchestra and knew when everybody was going to be doing their parts on the stage. So my memory was good then, too. I usually try to write notes also to plan out details and think matters through on paper. And it always helps my anxiety a little bit to know that everything is all set out and I don't have to worry about the technical aspect. Much like when it comes to recording like this, since I know that everything is tech-wise is all taken care of, I don't have to worry about that aspect. I just have to take care of the technical stuff, like what I'm going to say or things like that, the practical elements of recording and streaming like this. Would I be able to do this system for live streams? Once I'm able to reach at least an hour at most when it comes to talking straight through. I'm giving myself that guideline. I have to have at least an hour minimum of just plain recording first before I actually do a live stream and then record for everybody that way and chat and then do all the fun things that live streams usually offer. I don't know how many people would show up to a live stream, but I'm keeping optimistic. I'm sure that sometime one day the content will be what we can discuss on a regular basis in person. I made it to at least 40 minutes, so I'm nearing that goal slowly and surely, and it's only been a couple of weeks. It'll be a goal that I'll be looking forward to down the road. Do I arrive on time? Yes, I usually arrive early, or at least a couple of minutes before the allotted time. I always feel guilty or scared of inconveniencing people if I show up late or directly on time. So I always try to get there early. That's feels polite and correct for me to arrive early versus the opposite. And I'd probably feel sick to my stomach if I arrived late or directly on time, because I'd feel guilty that I made people wait for me. Do I schedule in advance? If it's a guaranteed yes to the appointment, and I'm sure that I'll be there, and I know that it's a guaranteed part of my day, I'll schedule it, yes, in advance. As for recording like this, I haven't decided if I want to schedule anything securely, but because I know that I probably won't do this at defined times. But I know that I'll do it on defined days, every other day at least, because then it gives my mind enough time to recover and think about brand new segments or brand new topics for us to cover in the broadcast. I always want to do something entertaining for you guys and for myself to record. I don't want to ramble too much or talk about things that I've already talked about. I want to be able to sit down and then enjoy the process like you are enjoying the process with me. Then I can pace myself as well, just like when I do my jogs. I try to do it once every other day. It helped a lot to do it recently, trying to do only one jog session and then rest and relax for the rest of it. Today's the rest day, so most of it's going to be walking for me. Tomorrow, if it's dry enough, I'll try another jog closer to the clinic, and then the rest of the day will be mostly walking. I gotta challenge myself, but I don't want to over-challenge myself, Because I know that when I did try to do 2 jogs in one day, I was exhausted the next day. So I've learned my lesson. And do I sleep well? Yes, I try to go to bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then I'm up by 5 a.m. each day. Depending on how cold I am the night before or whether how tired I am, determines whether I'll sleep in or not in the next day. So, but I always end up going to bed at the same time, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Most people are finished their streams by that time, and there isn't anyone afterwards that I need to catch up on. So I'm able to go to sleep regularly with everybody else once they finish their streams. And usually by that time, since I've woken up really early, about 5 a.m., I'm dead tired by then, so even if they didn't finish their streams, I'd be going to sleep nice and toasty and warm after a nice cup of tea. I always try to have green tea, white tea, black tea, or whatever tea I feel inspired to having that night. A lot of the times it's English breakfast or it's my cherry blossom green tea at the moment. The rest of it, it's pick at random on the shelf for my tea shelf what I want to drink that one night. Because I definitely have a huge collection of varieties of tea that I love to experiment with each day, just so I can have something new and exciting. I'm not the type to have just one single variety like my other parts of my family do, because I kind of get bored of it if I have to have the same tea over and over and over again. Just like when it comes to dance, I can't do the same dances over and over and over again, because it would mean that it's not as rewarding as learning something new or trying a different combination of dances that we've done over the years that we probably haven't done in a long while. Do I like mascots? Yes. They give people depth in our virtual universe. If they have a little pet with them, like a cat, dog, or a bird, or something like that, it gives them depth, and it lets us see them in a different light. And sometimes when they get plush versions of their mascots, it's always super cute and always very cozy. If people dressed up like their mascots, that's a whole different ballgame. That's really fun to see. And it's really, really cute. Them dressed up as their mascots. Would I dress up like a mascot? Well, depends on if the costume's available. I'm no crafts person when it comes to sewing and designing my own outfits. I've made my own plushie before, but I've never made my own outfit, per se. My grandmother was good at making clothes, and on my dad's side, my dad's mother was good at making clothes. And, but me, I'm not really good at that talent very well. I'm good at hemming things and sewing buttons, but and making the plushies. That's the limit of my skill in making clothes or doing handicrafts like that. I'm also good at needlepoint, which I learned from my mother. Other than that, nothing too complex, that's for sure. Do I drink? Only on special occasions and only if I want to try a special drink on a menu, or if it's made into as an ingredient in a dessert or something like that. Otherwise, I am pretty much clean. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't take drugs. My family have enough health problems as it is that I don't need somebody getting even more health problems that come from those three vices. I want to live a long life to help my mom and my family live a very happy life. They don't need me to have health problems too, like my father, which I sometimes worry about. Which, luckily, he has lots of specialists to help take care of his health problems, and I have enough specialists to help me with mine. It's hard in North America, or at least in BC, to find a health team, so we're pretty lucky as it is with what we've got. Do I like board games? Yes, they are fun. The only exception to that is when it causes people to have conflict and fight amongst themselves about who won a certain round or something like that. As anyone who have seen the Holo Live Monopoly games, it really tests friendships. And Vesper lost his temper during the last Monopoly stream, so he couldn't show up to the next board game with all his Tempest members last night. Mostly because, yes, he has a huge temper problem, and losing really badly does not exactly help his temper too much. Either that or he got sick. And when you're traveling from Japan to North America, that is a huge possibility. Crony happened to hand everybody loss during their Monopoly games, so it's understandable. And Vesper only lost because of a technicality. With online Monopoly, or at least on the Switch, if you don't answer the question right away or fast enough, the game kicks you off the game and gives you an automatic bankrupt card. Callie also lost by that technicality. Desky lost because he voluntarily went bankrupt, because everybody knew that Crony was definitely gonna whoop all three of them eventually, so may as well leave now before he lost royally any other way. And he happened to win the next day, so he was okay for the Tempest collab yesterday and won his dignity back. Do I like puzzle games? They're peaceful and relaxing, so I do like them. As long as you don't have a time limit, and as long as there is at least some viable solution to the puzzle game. Otherwise, it's easy to get frustrated with it, to have a puzzle game that you cannot solve. But it is rewarding once you manage to raise your skill level to be able to beat that puzzle that you wouldn't be able to beat before. I don't play them that quite often because I love my open world games and my music games and the fun RPGs that I usually play. I'm playing the new Fire Emblem this week. It's done by the artist Mama of Bay, which is going to be fun to see up close when I pick it up on Friday. And I hopefully, when I pick up my next Minecraft game, I can work more on the pathways. I finished the cottages, and I finished a little bit of a tree farm. I haven't explored much further in my file, or given the chance of trying the servers, because I usually don't play online too often on my Nintendo Switch. Speaking of servers, Holo Live just announced that they made an all Holo Live server. So all of English Council and English Myth are all on one server with Indonesia and Japan. So they have to start straight from scratch. But they're former solo servers are still going to be there. They won't delete them, but this one is going to be completely all HoloLive, so they can make everything together and do collabs a lot easier. Kyla says it's going to be okay. They don't lose anything, and they can probably transfer some of their experience and items over to the new server file. They don't know how easy it's going to be, but there won't be any trouble with losing anything. They were having fun setting it up this morning. A lot of the Japanese members and about 1 or 2 Indonesian members were playing it. I don't know if the English members have heard the news about the new server yet, or if they have, whether they'll be playing it anytime soon. The company cover gave them a choice if they want to stay with their old server and the work they did there to make portals to the different servers, or move everything over to the new one. It's all a matter of time what they'll choose. I believe Ina probably will be the first to try it. She hasn't made her schedule yet, so that could be one person that might try it first. Kiara is still in Japan and will be traveling around a little bit more, so she might not touch it for a while. Iris caught a bad cold and lost her voice, so she's on cortical steroids to help her vocal cords. Watame Nei-chan is going to be playing it tomorrow, and I'm talking about a Japanese person, so that doesn't really count for English, but Fauna might try it, and then there could be Ame, so there might be a few English members that might give it a go. It all depends on whether or not they have the time and whether or not they want to change over. Because Fauna made a whole bunch of EXP farms in the old file, and moving it over would be a lot of effort, and she'd have to make a whole new home for herself in her the new file. I think she'll stick with what she has now until she decides, fresh start would be fun, and make a whole new storyline with everybody else in the new connected server that they don't have to make portals for. Do I like classic architecture? Yes. The artistic qualities and cozy features are very appealing to me. Whenever I make something in Minecraft, I always use classic architecture for my structures and cozy cottage core inspiration. I never feel obligated to use modern day architecture, and if I was buying a new house, I would definitely not go modern. I would definitely try for something very country core classic for my aesthetic choices. For me, that fits well. And I love learning the history about the classic architecture and where they got their inspiration and all the warm feels that come from classic architecture. Do I clean after cooking? I clean as I go usually. If I have a chance to clean while everything's being cooked on the stove or put in the baking oven, I will. Because I feel that if you cook and clean at the same time, you have less to do afterwards. And you feel more accomplished and finished that way. And I'm not big for clutter in the kitchen. Everything has to be in its place when it's in the kitchen. And it makes life easier that way, less stressful. And I always have more fun that way. I guess it's because of home economics in junior high. They always taught us to cook and clean as we go. Load the dryer and the washer at the same time as when you're doing your work. That way you can have everything done at the same time. Do I like watches? If they are multitasking watches, yes, I do like a good old watch. I have a Garmin, so it has my heart monitor, my steps for the day, and then even a music app so I can listen to my music while I'm doing my jogging or walks. It's way more convenient and I don't have to carry too much with me. And the watch is pretty nice because you can customize it and use whatever image that you want as the watch face. It also has a weather part, and it also tells you how much water you've had to drink each day. Once you put in the data for the type of water or liquid you drink during the day. I always have everything under control with my watch. Would I go back to traditional watches? Probably not, because they are unitaskers at best. They can be solar powered, but then by the 2 or 3 days later, you'd have to put it by the windowsill. So, no, I've gotten used to having everything all in one with my Garmin watch. Would I ever do a traditional radio? Do I ever think about it or something like that when it comes to a real radio broadcast? I don't think so. I prefer doing it all in one place on my computer, because I think you'd have to transfer it to a big radio server itself to get the most use out of it, or know a radio studio that would play your radio broadcast. I think that's how it works, usually. Most likely. Do I ever consider writing my own book? Not at the moment, no. I like being spontaneous when it comes to my writing. When an inspiration hits, that's when I'll write something down on paper. Though I do like to write in my journal and just decompress inside the Hobonichi on a regular basis first thing in the morning. Or if I have some thought pattern at night, I'll write in my journal. This is sort of a decompressing for me as well, just talking to everybody here. It makes me feel like I've gotten all my thoughts out of my head in some shape or form. Do I consider writing my own choreography if I've known dance for so long? Not necessarily. I'm not at the scholarly level to be able to write my own choreography or claim to be the best dancer in the world. I may have done it since junior high. I may have learned it from my grandparents when I was growing up. But I don't claim to be able to do all the technical aspects of choreography. I may know a bit of music too, from choir and vocal jazz and pit orchestra and wind symphony and concert band, doing clarinet work versus just my singing. But I'm nowhere near the skill level of actual choreographer. I won't take away from them, and I respect them too much to step into their shoes. They've worked so hard on it, and they've given their life to creating wonderful dances. I like learning from them versus doing it myself. We tried to do it in junior high choreography, but it wasn't for me. I preferred just learning the steps and watching how it all plays out when we are on a stage, trying out the choreography versus actually design it myself. Though many people have said that I was a good dancer to be able to get to the next level, but no, I'm doing it for fun and exercise and the company and sharing different stories. Do I think I could host a potluck for one of those dance jamborees? I'd rather have the experts do that. I don't have the room to host a huge jamboree, nor the dance floor. But I would like to help with finding venues or things like that. I don't mind helping. It would be beyond me to do the actual, all the framework myself. It would also take away from the fun. Do I consider myself anywhere near the level to set up a bigger studio? I don't know if I have the skill for that, but I know that I've been able to make this small little studio in my room with the TV on the miniature TV monitor on one side with the Google dongle attached to it, and then my boom mic stand with the condenser microphone, and then the laptop in the center. I have everything all set up easily this way. As for like a big putting glass barricades and sound bars and giant huge sound dampening equipment, I think I'd probably depend on the experts who know how to set up one of those traditional sound studios. In Japan, I believe some of the JP members of Holo Live got it professionally done with glass walls and the sound dampening walls put in to their rooms that can be folded up so they can have it more convenient to them. Some of the English members do it from their closet. I can usually do it in my room, usually in the morning or afternoon, when everybody's busy doing other things or watching television or practically distracted, so they don't come in without knocking or wonder, what is that person doing in their room at this time? And think that it's a noise, so they come in right away. It's easier to do it during the day when no one's underfoot and I can talk for as often as I can, or as often as I have subject matter to chat about. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting my channel, and hopefully you subscribe, and hopefully we'll have a different themed game or perhaps a new Zatsu in the coming days. Thank you.